All right, welcome to another video from the chart reader. So I wanted to do one more review of the major markets. I normally would have waited for the week to end, just kind of do, because it's a little right before the weekend, right? That said, I wanted to talk about this week because it's been quite an interesting week of trading, actually. I'm starting on the Dow Jones and I'm going to go backwards. So normally I do NASDAQ, S&P 500, Dow Jones. On this video, I'm going to do Dow Jones, S&P 500, and NASDAQ. I made the video over the weekend. So the last trading day we saw together on this video was the 21st. I made the video on the 22nd, which was the weekend, and then the 24th was obviously the start of this week, right? So um, overall, I felt the last video was pretty good. I'm not going to say I got everything right, but I think I was a little too optimistic on the NASDAQ, which is hilarious because I've been so pessimistic on the NASDAQ for so long, right? But you'll see when I go over this, it really was the Dow Jones and S&P 500 that made me do that. But nonetheless, I'm not here to pretend I'm perfect. I like talking about my mistakes on these videos because, again, you hearing my thoughts and reasoning ideally prevents you from making that same mistake I made on that next trade, and shit hopefully prevents me, right? So again, let's start with the Dow Jones. And look, the Dow Jones ripped through these two moving average clusters so strong, and it really it pushed my thoughts a lot, okay? Because when we made the video, right, we didn't quite yet know that we were gonna get over it, but we definitively got over the 20, while the other two, and again, we'll get to them, we're still playing down here, right? Once it just destroyed the 100, and then gave one more day confirmation, once that rip of both happened in just such a smooth 3 days, I actually started thinking that the NASDAQ was going to do the exact same thing, right? So I'm going to come back here, but let's move to the S&P right now, okay? So while the Dow was sitting up here, we had what looked like a nice monster break of the 20 here, okay? And seemingly, because again, I've said it a bunch of times, these things move together, right? With the Dow Jones just ripping through this, it really seemed like we were just going to rip through that as well, right? And both of them had that back-to-back Monday and Tuesday good day. But you can see it here. The 50, you can almost say the 50 was the perfect resistance line, right? There was a moment when it looked like it was going to break it pretty hard and kind of do the same thing the Dow did and maybe break the 100 in pretty much a 3-day window. But then we hammer down and then again kind of get what looks like a confirmation of losing the 50. This is not a good chart right here. I don't like hitting a wall and then coming here, right? What really needs to happen is we need to hit the 8 and make our way back up, okay? If we lose the 8, which is what? Let's just 37.66, that will be really bad. And it's funny because again, you come back to the Dow Jones here. The Dow Jones looked like it broke this really well, gave a decent confirmation, but even the confirmation here wasn't a beautiful one, right? Because I really talk about only two shapes of candles. The first one is this one. It's a doji, when there's a very little body, line going up, line going down, right? What does that mean? Someone bought here, someone bought here. Ultimately, it really didn't even move at all in the day. Uncertainty. This is a bad one because someone thought it was going to fly and then it just dropped hard. Again, someone thought it was going to fly and then just dropped hard, right? So these are hammers, right? It looks like a hammer, and it's a bad hammer. It's definitely a come down hammer, right? It's good when it's a go up hammer. It is actually theoretically good when it's a go up hammer, but obviously you want it to be a green go up hammer and things like that, right? But yeah, I'm not much of a shape trader, but again, these aren't good symbols. That's not a fantastic confirmation, but again, you know what the problem is? This is actually a decent day in terms of confirmation, right? Because we gap up and yeah, look, the RSI actually looks good. It's a little high. 80 is definitely when we start getting worried, right? And one of the things I talked about was a little bit of a healthy pullback and then hopefully jump back up. Because again, this one's trying to break the 200, right? If it could come down, hit the 100 and go back up to the 200, that could be a good healthy move, right? But yeah, it's been really interesting. It's been very interesting. I don't know what else the other word is, right? So again, this looks like a good weekly, right? We've broken the 8, we've broken the 20. We're sitting well up here, right? So it actually almost looks like we're going to break the 20. But again, we need one more week of confirmation for that. And then right after that, we're back to this struggle, right? So I think it's just a little noisy. And then coming back to the S&P 500, right here, it looks like it failed. But again, it might just be doing a healthy pullback to go up. Because again, that's a really good RSI. That's a good number. There's still room for this to go up if it wants to. You know, we've seen the Dow Jones break that cluster easily. But then we come to the NASDAQ, right? And the NASDAQ doesn't even get as close to the 50 and actually loses the 8 and the death line today. I paused there for it's frustrating. It is, because again, these should be moving together. The Dow Jones is trying to be strong enough to pull the S&P and the NASDAQ up, but it's not happening. Personally, I'm frustrated because I think I'm making some like early assumptions before waiting for confirmation like I should. But yeah, it's just such a choppy trading, and it's just, it really emphasizes the importance of confirmation. And I'll be honest, you can kind of tell during this week there were moments where I just didn't wait for confirmation, or I made some assumptions but didn't remember that there's another confirmation needed just after that, right? So it's funny. It really is, right? And keep in mind that we could always use more indicators, right? So again, I don't know if you're watching all the videos, so I'm not gonna like repeat it a bunch, right? But when I move my money, I'm moving on the 1. We're using the chart readers, which again is a really good intermediate stack. I promise you, it's way better than just some blank chart. You know what I mean? But even when I use the 1, which has more indicators, actually has more moving average lines, a lot more lower indicators down here. There's quite a bit of a difference, but nonetheless, I still make mistakes on that one. I'm obviously going to make mistakes on this one. No one is a perfect trader, but just keep setting expectations and keep changing them as, you know, reality comes out, right? I really thought this clean break, this boom, 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 was going to happen right here. I thought it was going to be a boom, 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 and I thought it was going to be right here, right? I thought it was just going to be, it didn't happen. Ultimately, what happened was they all got the same 3-day jump, right? Because you can see 3 monster candles, right? 3 monster candles, right? Sorry to do this so slow, but again, 3 monster candles. This one actually got a 4th one because all those other ones had them down and down, right? This one still has an upward trend going, still has a good RSI. I'll be honest, I feel like I'm putting back my pessimistic hat and I'm believing it's going to NASDAQ it again, right? The amount of work the Dow Jones just threw down was only this on the NASDAQ, and we're right back to my death line. Like on the last video, and I laugh saying this, I remember talking about my gold lines up here, right? That's how fooled out I was, and I am not here to pretend I wasn't fooled out. It's really funny that a little bit of optimism just goes such a long way, and then the slap of pessimistic reality just makes you laugh. And again, I'm not here to pretend I'm perfect. I'll be honest when I make mistakes, but yeah, I'm going with everything's kind of coming back towards death lines. If I had to guess, it just I don't know if the S&P 500 is going to bounce right here or bounce right here. I am actually thinking it's going to kind of come back down here, right? And it's even crazier because of how far there it's the like is the Dow Jones able to use this cluster, and it's not a tight cluster, but there are four lines right here. Can it bounce on the 50 maybe and start making another way up and start pulling the other two up? Is the Dow, I mean, is NASDAQ, I didn't go to ComQ. Is NASDAQ going to go so far back down this death hole and go towards the 10,000 that, again, no matter how much you pull it, it's only going to do little blimps, right? Like, it's a little choppier than ideal. And it goes back to either needing more information or just waiting for it to clear up. But trust me when I say I hate how indecisive these videos are. I hope you can at least tell that I here am frustrated with you. I am a natural gambler and I like putting my money in the market and seeing if I'm right or wrong. But I'm telling you, and I've said it on a bunch of different my comments and chats with, which I enjoy so much and I really appreciate, by the way, but I have more money on the sidelines than I normally do. I really hate waking up, looking at my phone, watching some stocks go up and knowing I'm not making any money. But there's a nicer feeling knowing that I'm not just dying by 1,000 cuts, because I'm telling you, it's happened to me years ago. I mean, yeah, it's a bad way to go. -3, -3, -2, -1, -5, +3, +2, -5. You know what I mean? Like it's a bad way to go down. So if you're a gambler like I am, I know it's a lot harder to say than do, but hey, there's nothing wrong with just waiting a little bit, right? Otherwise, just we're in a choppy market. There's nothing more to it. It looked like we were going away from these death lines, but it kind of looks like we're coming back to it. I don't know if we're going to be able to maybe bounce. And you know, there's so much that could happen, right? But bad earnings are coming through, and I think my pessimistic hat is coming back on. So, but yeah, nonetheless, I hope you're learning. I wish these were a little more decisive and definitive one way or the other. But just in all honesty, I can only tell you what I see, right? So I hope you're learning. I hope you're enjoying these. And again, I sincerely appreciate all the time, all the comments, and yeah, enjoy and safe trading out there.